everyone. It's a role game. Educational channel expansion wellness from wellness center turned into education center. Hopefully, this will help and this will work. And with the support and participation of such professional and knowledgeable people, we are hoping to share the awareness and to combine the science and spirituality into the world and into our day-to-day life, which is the world, right? Right. So, welcome. My name is Natalia, and this is Cami.
Yes.
And Cami, maybe you would like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm actually a doctor of prepared nurse practitioner. I've been practicing medicine for 25 plus years. My background's mainly in emergency medicine, but I practiced family practice for a few years, and now I own a medical spa in Sugar Land. So that's my background.
Wonderful. And you have a special training in communication.
Yes, I mean, in medicine in general, we get, a pretty basic level of communication, and as you progress in the profession, you develop your own and you study more. One of the things we were talking about earlier is Imago training. I don't know if any of you have any experience with that. Basically, most of the time when we communicate, we're listening and we're formulating an answer before you've actually even said everything you want to say. So in Imago training, it actually forces you to actually say and receive the information where you're actually paying attention, because you're going to have to say it back to the person that you're talking to.
Surprisingly, right?
So as the sender, I would come and give you, ask you for an appointment. Like, I would like to make a behavior change request, and they may or may not be familiar with this this method, but they'll say yes or no, and it really does matter if both parties are trained in that communication.
Okay.
It's pretty simple, but it's it's got a format, and so you would say yes or no, because if you're running out the door and I have something to talk about for 15 minutes, you're not going to be present. I'm not going to feel heard, and now it's going to just cause more friction.
Mismatch.
So I would say, Natalia, I would like to make an appointment for a behavior change request. Are you available?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
And so in the next phase of this, I'm going to actually say whatever the behavior is that I would like her to change. There's several formats for different kinds of communication, but this is usually what most people want, is somebody to do something else. They don't like what they're doing, so can we do something else? And I would ask you, I would say, I can give you an example with my husband. I just did this the other night with my husband.
Is he trained?
Yes. We actually, as a couple, this is a great couples way of communicating. You get validated, you have empathy, and what we do as couples is we actually heal each other. So whatever childhood wounds you have, your partner in life is usually who helps you heal these wounds. The only way that you can actually heal these wounds is getting all the way down to the deep feelings. Most people go right to anger or fear. That's just the top level of emotions. Everything's way deeper than that. And as you are validated and heard throughout your relationship, it'll actually start healing those deep, dark wounds. So, I made an appointment. Can you talk? Yes. I would like you to stop turning the TV on at 4 in the morning when you can't sleep in the bedroom, because it wakes me up. And then you would say, so what I hear you say is you would like me to stop turning on the TV.
So I validate your request.
Yes, you validate. You're not agreeing, disagreeing, anything. You're just validating that you heard me, and I can feel heard. And then the next step would be, it makes me feel, and whatever feeling word. And a feeling word is different than I feel like. That's not the same. You can tell a feeling word is usually one or two words. But if I feel like you just really don't care about me, blah, 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 that's not a feeling word. So I'd say, I feel irritated when you do that. And then you would say it back to me.
So, Kemi, as I understand, you feel irritated
Yes.
when I do that.
Yes, and then you would now say, I can see how that would be irritating, you know. You can also show some empathy at this point, or you can just mirror it back.
Mhm.
And then I would say something like, you know, I feel irritated and you know, I feel like you don't really care about me getting a good night's sleep and it's disrespectful. And then you would mirror that back to me.
And I would say, Kemi, as I understand, you feel irritated and that I don't care if you get a good night's sleep, and this is not my purpose. I'm being.
No, don't go in,
Okay.
you just mirror right back.
Oh.
Because now you're going
Into my own
yes,
feelings.
yes. So you
Oh,
just,
I was trying to expand the empathy.
yes, no, don't expand. Just at this point, you're just gonna mirror back until we get to that part. And then, and you'd ask me, is that right?
Is that right?
Yes, and if there was something that she didn't get, like she missed a whole part of it, I would say it again, and we'd have that exchange till she said it all and I actually acknowledged that she got it. And then I could say, so I request that you don't turn the TV on at 4 a.m. And then you would either agree or not agree. And then if you don't agree, then we'd plop it back on the other side, and then you would start
And then
telling
I'll
me
start
how you're feeling. I would turn into the receiver. And you know, a good way to practice this is doing one little exchange a day with your partner, somebody that's around you all the time at work, you know, friends, that kind of thing. And actually just the first step of mirroring, it gets really silly sometimes, you know, like would you like some water? I hear you asking me for some water. Yes, I hear you saying yes. It gets
unnatural.
You do, and
We don't even have to be in the room.
yes, and when you go through the Harville Hendrix, who is the guy that actually created this structure of communication for couples, you have to do that for a full 24 hours, and you just really get present to how much you don't listen to people.
Oh.
That's the purpose of it. And it takes about 66 days per a lot of body of research on creating a new habit. So you're going to have to do this every day for at least 66 days to even plant a little bit of it into your consciousness. But it's a fabulous way to communicate. So,
Ladies, would you like to try?
Yeah.
Would you like? Let's give it a try. You just said such a perfect horizontal.
and one
match
thing
right
you
there.
could also do is you can acknowledge something that you like about her. So you could come up and say, yeah, I'd really like to make an appointment for an acknowledgement. I know that people don't talk that way, but it's, you know, you can use your own words to say that, but, you know, I'd like to make an appointment to really acknowledge you. Is this a good time? And you'd say yes or no. If it's no, then when would be a good time? And you say 3 o'clock. So I see 3 o'clock as a good time for me to acknowledge you. And then you'd say, yes, 3 o'clock is a good time. And then y'all would meet at 3 o'clock, you know, and then start the whole thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, so the first thing is we'll call you the receiver and you the sender. Okay? So you make an appointment with her.
I'd like to make an appointment for an acknowledgement with you.
As I hear you, you would like to make an appointment with me for acknowledgement.
Yes.
And say,
yes.
yes, it's a good time.
It's a good time.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you'd say, it's Julia, right?
Yes.
Julia, I'd like to acknowledge you for, you know, how beautifully you dress. Something. It could be a little thing or a big thing. So something that you acknowledge about her.
Julia, I'd like to acknowledge your openness. I really like your openness.
Okay, and then,
That.
yes.
You're saying that, as I hear you, you're saying that you would like to acknowledge my openness.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you,
Can
Then-
I say thank you?
you can, yes, you can. And at that point, you'd say, did I get it right? And say yes, and then you can just stop the conversation there. That's a place you could stop, or you could carry it on and you could acknowledge her back or not. You don't have to do that, but the being validated like that, like for one thing, it feels really good to be validated.
Mhm.
And you can also say, you know, when I, your openness, I feel close and connected to you. You could say that, you know, whatever your feeling is underneath that. So that would be the next step to say, you know, your openness, I feel, with your openness, or whatever the acknowledgement is, with your openness, I feel X. And then you would mirror that back. And then both of you have now been acknowledged, both of you have been heard, and then, you know, the exchange has happened. And so you know something about, she knows something about how you feel about her, and you know something about your openness connects her. So there's it's a two-way street of information.
It's very challenging, I have to say.
Shall we continue?
It's very unusual, yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Julia?
very, um,
Go ahead.
can I ask for
Yeah, you have to ask for an appointment.
I would like to schedule an appointment, ask for an appointment for acknowledgement.
Yes, I'm available.
I love this.
I would like to acknowledge how beautiful you look today. I think it gives some good vibes, and just seeing you today, it gives me very, very pleasant feelings. I feel light.
Let her mirror back, because
Oh, that would be interesting.
and you can stop and say, if they're talking a lot, you can say, stop, let me mirror back what I just heard, and then you can keep adding to it.
Okay.
So what I hear you saying is you think I look beautiful today, and it's giving good energy to the room.
Yes.
I hear you.
And so, and you could say now her good energy makes you feel, and you said that, but you kind of lumped it all together. Yeah.
Yes,
Actually, it's a good training to speak to.
look today, how you look today, maybe how you feel today makes me feel really good. Just seeing you.
And then you would mirror that back.
So you're saying that how I look today is making you feel good.
That's correct.
And then now,
For that.
and now her acknowledgement makes you feel how?
That makes me feel really good and special today, so
Mhm.
thank you.
And then you say, so,
I'm very, very glad to hear that.
so that's a really good first run, it really is. And it's just, it becomes a habit, and it doesn't sound so mechanical once you're, and even people that don't know the format, you can still communicate on your side as a sender, you can still communicate that way. And as people are speaking to you, like especially if somebody's really angry, like in the emergency room, I meet people in their worst possible day. I'm telling them information that is going in one ear and out the other. And they might be directing all their angst, all their hurt, sadness, everything on me. And, you know, it's really hard not to get caught up in that unless you do have some training that you can step back. So, you know, if somebody's coming at me and saying, why did, I have to tell them, I'm sorry, Grandma didn't make it. You know, we did everything we could and she didn't make it. You know, I've had people, take a swing at me. I've had them curse me out. It's just however that energy comes out. And being able to be with it is the first step, and not making it a personal thing. Just being able to just sit with it like it's perfect, just like it's coming at you, and just be with it. And then, I can't believe she died. So I hear that you're really upset that she's passed, and they'll say whatever they'll say, and you just keep mirroring back everything they're saying. And at a point, if there's any lull in it, I can imagine that you were heartbroken that Grandma passed, or Grandma died. We don't actually use those words in the emergency room. We say Grandma died, because a lot of people, that's one of those things that's left for interpretation, and it's not a very direct way of saying something. So that have a problem with like death, they would say, grandma passed on, grandma's not with us anymore. And that is left open to interpretation so that maybe I don't want to deal with that she's gone. So I can create an alternate reality that, you know, she's not really gone. You know, y'all just, she's still in there. She's going to be fine. But saying, I'm sorry, grandma died, you know. So being really choice, you know, using the correct word and being as direct and direct is the word I'm looking for with communication is it leaves a lot less interpretation. But even if there is a misinterpretation, the mirroring back and forth will catch that. Like, you know, if you say, you know, grandma passed on, and I say, I hear you saying grandma passed on, and then if she keeps on with that, I might actually say, you know, grandma has died. Can you say that back to me? Just so they can get it. And this is a great tool to teach kids, little kids, you know, because they don't have any preconceived notions of how things are supposed to go. But, you know, when they're throwing a fit, now I want candy, I hear you want some candy. I can imagine you're really frustrated, I'm not getting you candy. And now I've just acknowledged them, I've heard them, I've acknowledged them with them.
And they're like lost their attention.
Yes, and they'll, you know, they'll respond however they respond. But being able to not react, but respond is the goal always. And that's one of the things meditation helps us do is be able to quiet our mind enough to not react, just, you know, react. So
That's a wonderful way out to meditation.
yes.
Thank you. And we have experienced meditators here in this room, so that would be nice to practice. But first, let's see if there are any different situations with communication. Like for instance, you in the emergency room, you would communicate very directly and yet compassionately, right? So you'll use a certain frequency and connection, and you'll speak from a certain center, right? And in different situation, maybe say like in the restaurant, right, or in a very public place, very like a social light place, but still you want to maintain some meaningful connection or create some meaningful connection, you would probably use some other tools, right, of the communication.
Yes, but I think the format is still pretty much the format.
The same, to be able to listen, because
Yes.
the key component of communication is to listen.
To acknowledge that you received that message.
Yes, because in most communication, when I'm talking to you, you're actually thinking about what you're going to say back to me. And you see my mouth doing this, and you're not really listening. Especially if we're having a heated debate or fighting, and I'm saying something, you know, say you're my husband, and say, you turn the TV on again, and I can't believe you did that, and we had this whole conversation, and why are you doing that? You've tuned me out already, and you're making, in your mind, you're coming up with your case of why I'm wrong.
Yes.
And then it gets to be a battle of who's right and who's wrong, and nobody gets, yes. Yes, it is the battle of the egos for sure. And you know, so if we can stop and be present, and sometimes you have to just stop, and I've even stopped people when they're talking to me when I feel myself drifting off. Let me stop you. Can you repeat that, because I kind of left for a minute, and then I'll do that, and saying that, people will appreciate that. No, wow, they're really listening.
She's really listening.
Yeah, and then really, ultimately, as human beings, we want to be heard, and we want to be acknowledged and accepted for who we are. All the good and all the what some might say is bad. But I really don't believe in a good or bad or right or wrong. I believe in it's either loving or an absence of loving. Not even a polarity of not loving. It's loving or not.
Emptiness.
Yeah, the emptiness there. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, because the opposite of love, even if someone is angry, he or she still loves you, because anger is it's the same emotion as love, but with a different symbol. Basically, the energy behind it is similar. So some people, they are happy that someone is angry at them because they are acknowledged.
Right, because in conventional terms, the opposite of love is actually apathy. So if you are angry at somebody, you still have, as you say, you still have love, you know. But if you are apathetic to somebody, you're not connected at all with them. So there's not love or hate or anything. There's just nothing. There's a nothingness, not like I'm not open to connecting with you, but I am not connected
I'm
to
not
you.
willing to connect with you.
And you know, that's happens in couples, you know, when there's a breakup and I hate you, you know, the time
And
to,
they're like, ha, you still love me.
yes. Yeah, if you think about, you know, marriages, I've had lots of people talk to me and counsel about marriage and when's it time to go. And when you can walk out of the door and have no emotion about it, no sorrow, no happiness, no, you know, angst, none of that. When you can walk out and be just apathetic, that's when you've cleaned all the mess up there. Otherwise, there's still stuff to take care of. And that person that can really push those buttons is not an accident while you're together with them. You know, the universe will throw you together so you can work those
Special kind of
issues.
love.
Yes.
I'm curious how this type of communication, how men and women are perceptive to it. So it sounds to me, just because we tried, it does sound a little unnatural, and I understand it takes some time to break any habit. But I think women might be a little bit more pro,
Speaking that way.
Yes.
What my experience I've seen with the difference between women and men is men have a harder time connecting with that feeling word.
Yeah.
So they want to fix it, they want to analyze it, they want to make it right or wrong. That's been my experience of most men. Not to say women don't do the same thing, we do, but I think as a society, women are more socialized to have feelings and be able to express them. Certain feelings we're not anybody's supposed to express, but it's part of the problem in the world today. But that's been my experience between men and women of getting to that feeling word, not analyzing it or if that communicates.
And that, like yoga-wise, that actually makes sense because women and men, they have different substance inside. So women are supposed to be a seed of the family, like the soul of the family, and man is supposed to be the aura, the magnetic field of the family, which means aura is what? Protection, projection is a cover, right? And it's armor. So man is wired that way, that they are supposed to take actions. The only thing they're supposed to do is to really listen and be inspired by the soul of the family. So the soul of the family knows and manages the family and the mood of the family, the feeling, and when man is like completely off or does not reciprocate, then of course it's hard. But mostly men, they are susceptible to the feelings and emotions of women. That's why they're so afraid of them. And we as women, we just need to be more aware of what's going on inside of us, because if it's a mess inside of us, what can we project to the family, right? What can we create in our family? What kind of soul is that? It's like it's going to be the roller coaster soul, right? Which is,
It's like the adage, if mama's not happy, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
And it really is like that.
exactly.
The family and like I said when we first started, that your energy precedes you. So even if you walk into a room and don't say a word, you communicate more than you usually communicate with words. The words are the last part of the communication, and we tend to pay more attention to that, but really getting in touch with the energy we're projecting and the energy we're allowing into our aura, without protecting yourself from, when I go to the emergency room, I do protect myself before I go in, because there's a lot of things that can happen that can really attach to me. So but being conscious of that, and a lot of people think, oh, that's silly, or it's actually very scientifically proven the energy field around people and the exchange of that energy field. It's, very well documented in the literature.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, when I moved to this apartment complex, I was concerned because as yogis, for instance, would know that auras, they communicate like, I think like 7 or 8 feet around the person. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, I'm communicating with all apartments here. It's just too much. But that's exactly true, that auras are communicating between each other, among each other. And we send in the signals way before we even meet
Yes.
with each other.
Yes, that's another thing that, people hear about paranormal activity or telekinesis or all the different tells, like, being able to hear things that other people can't hear. All of those have actually been documented, very, a pile, this high of literature confirming all that. So it's not like it's weird, out of the ordinary. It's actually abilities that human beings have always had, and we get here, we forgot we have them, because that's part of the game is, ascending, and if we knew all the game, plays, it wouldn't be any fun, so we have to forget it. And then we forget that we can do these things, and it's not like out of the realm of scientific evidence. So it's not weird or different, and it's not that somebody that can actually have telekinesis or telepathy or those types of things, like she's talking about, you precede yourself before you come in, that's been very well documented for decades. But there's, a big hush about that, and we don't talk about that, and we don't want people to talk about that. It's actually very natural and normal. We all have it, all of us.
Yeah, because not too many powerful people are interested in other people being capable of all these abilities, right? I'm not trying to create or affirm any theory of conspiracy, but it is true, because if you see athletes, right, participating in Olympic games, those are people who have faith in themselves. Those are people who have faith in their abilities, and we all have that, right? We all have these abilities of our gift of even like being in the situation and doing our best, being our best, who we really are at the moment. It takes a lot of nerves. It takes a lot of alignment. It takes a lot of like clarity, right, in what you want to convey and who you are. And it all comes down. And it's not a propaganda of yoga, but it's just one of the nice tools that that's there. But it really, all it takes to know who you are and have nerves and strengths to project it and communicate with understanding. In that case, you will not have insecurities as to, oh, what is this person saying or not saying or thinking about me. It's gone. This is, you have heart-to-heart communication, and that's whole different dynamics of communication. And communication is what? Is exchange of prana, of the energy and life force, right? So we all want that little piece of prana, right? When we go to a nice spa or something and we want a massage, do we really want a massage, or do we want to have someone meeting us and being very nice to us and acknowledging and all this ambience and atmosphere of care, right? It's all prana exchange, basically, or prana acceptance. So we can have it in our everyday interaction, our communication. It's this prana exchange, basically. And how we do it, how clear we are, how prepared we are, that's the quality of the communication we're going to have.
And the other thing with the energetic communication that happens with your aura is, you've met somebody and you are instantly attracted to them and attracted to their energy, and then you've met people that you don't know why, there's no logical reason, but you're just kind of repelled a little bit. So it's actually very, very, the metaphor I learned about this that feels true for me is, we can imprint on people's auras. So I come up and I meet you and I like you and I think, well, she's very nice, she's open, very pleasant to look at, all this. I'll imprint that on your aura, and we'll call it like a picture. There's a little picture there, and then you come up and you say you have the same experience with her, and there's another little picture. What happens is over time, if you got like 20 little pictures like that, they all come into one big picture, And now that's a very strong projection of who you are. And if you're kind of a jerk, and people experience you as a jerk, they'll imprint jerk on you, and then more people have that experience with you, you'll have that big projection.
What about jealousy?
All of it. Any emotion or any impression or anything, we imprint it on each other. And one of the things you can do is actually clean your aura off and actually make it not charged. Because if you think of these as like charged particles that are around you, we want neutrality. We don't want charged, particles. Even in all our chakras, we want everything neutral, everything spinning, calm, cool, collect. And if you have all these charged pictures on your aura, you'll think, I want to keep the positive ones. We'll get rid of the negative ones, but that's incorrect. You want neutrality. So like a weekly meditation I do is clean my aura, and actually I learned this. I forget his name, Jeffrey Allen. I learned this technique of actually mentally creating a rose outside of your aura. You don't want to do it inside your aura, outside of your aura, and then release all of those charged pictures to this rose outside of your aura. And then when you're finished and you can't see them anymore, you can't feel them, or you can just say it, even if you're not a visual person, you can just say, I want to release these to this rose, and then I blow this rose up and release it back into the universe. And it gives you also, you can also, it's another way to protect yourself as well. You can create a permission rose. So I have this rose in front of me, and it's enveloped my whole aura, and it's telling the universe, this is my space. You can have the whole rest of the universe, but this is my space, and I'm in charge of who comes in and who doesn't. And just having that kind of protection and like she's saying, the confidence, the safety is feeling safe is important for all of us.
That's why it's very important to meditate every day, like taking a shower.
That's true. Meditation is, a little background about me. 2.5 years ago, I had a surgery on my knee, tore ACL, and I developed a pain condition called chronic regional pain syndrome, CRPS. And, arguably it's one of the worst pain diagnoses you can get. It's worse than labor pain, worse than cancer pain. And I would literally be on the floor screaming, and nothing anybody can do. There's just nothing anybody can do. And I went through all the mainstream medicine things and just no help. And I was led to, and I also had a huge spiritual awakening through all this, because when I was a kid, I was what you'd call psychic, but, it made me a weird kid. Nobody, wanted to hear anything about that. There was zero listening for it back then in my world, although my dad is extremely psychic, but he always made fun of it. So, I had to make fun of it too, because I adored him. And so I guess I walled it off. And then through all this pain and learning meditation and all the alternative type of healing, it blew open whatever little gate I had put there. So it's been a very interesting 2 years for me in the spiritual awakening. And I can't consume the information fast enough for just some peace of mind, and just how vast just how vast it is as far as our experience as a human being and as a soul, and it's pretty cool. And I really believe that was perfect that happened. Otherwise, I would not gotten here this quickly.
It's such a fun movie. I mean, it's what I've heard. It amazed me. And whenever we text each other, and whenever Kemi texts something like a revelation or something, it's just an amazing download of information. I think I'll start like putting the text in the book and binding them together.
Yeah, it's interesting. I probably say this afterwards, but we got some news.
We are online, just so you know.
Yes, yeah, we got some news that was you know, difficult news about people we used to know a while back, and there's some theories about what happened, and as soon as I heard what happened, I immediately knew what happened, the rest of the story. So I don't know how much of that to share or not with the parties that be, but just having that kind of information just like download into your brain, a lot of people it's jarring, you know, like, you know, for a long period in this 2 years, I thought I was having a psychotic break. I thought I had really lost it, and some of the things that I was seeing and some of the things I knew, like just knew, like I know my name, I knew that's the way it was, is not stuff you can just say to people. And you know, and I'm a professional, I have a professional, you know,
Appearance.
yes, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna go to her, she's crazy, you know,
Yeah.
and just, you know,
That's
that
what a lot of people think about me. That's why.
it's fine, you know, but it's really that we're just a little bit more in tune than other people, but everybody has it. Even if you think, how many times did you pick the phone up right when somebody's calling you, or the phone, you get to thinking about something, somebody you haven't seen in years, you start, oh, I wonder what they're doing, and then all of a sudden you get an email from them, they Facebook you, they call you. That's you communicating. You literally are communicating. And one of the things I learned that I didn't know before all this, you know, when I would see spirits, I thought they all had to be dead. I didn't know that spirits still, we can fragment our energy, and when somebody says, I'm with you in spirit, they literally are.
You're like, uh-oh.
But you literally can be with somebody in spirit. And, you know, I think it's pretty cool, actually.
It is. It's very. It saves a lot on air travels.
Yes,
Sure.
yes. When I was younger, I was in England, and my dad got electrocuted here. And as soon as he got electrocuted, I felt it. Because I'm a medical empath, so I can actually feel.
Oh my God.
So it makes me actually very good at diagnosis. In fact, my sister-in-law called me yesterday, and one of a child she takes care of, his parents are overseas, and she takes care of him for like 18 years. And she called me because he was crying, and he's not verbal. He's got some real challenges. And I felt immediately it was his stomach. I thought maybe appendix, maybe kidney stone. Get him to the ER, and he had a kidney stone. So I can actually feel it. So you have to learn to put that, you know, away. But for many years,
They have to make an appointment.
Yeah. For many years, I couldn't control it, you know, but I'm getting better at controlling it. One that comes to mind, had a patient come to the spa, and you know, I've seen her once or twice, and I could tell she was stressed. I could tell something was going on. I said, hey, what's up? My patients talk to me. I got this thing on my forehead that says, tell me everything, you know, tell me everything. And she was saying, you know, my son, he's really sick. He's been to 22 doctors. We can't find out what's wrong with him. He's got stomach pain. He's, you know, all these symptoms. And I said, well, say more about his symptoms. And she's telling me this laundry list of symptoms. I said, it's his pancreas. And she said, no. She said, he's been to all these endocrinologists. They scanned him from top to bottom. I said, I don't know why, because I don't, at the time, I really didn't know why. I don't know why, but I'm compelled to tell you that you go to his doctor, you scream and yell and do whatever you need to do to get them rescan his pancreas. It's his pancreas. And so she said, okay. And so I did the service, and she left. And about a month later, I get a call. Said, this is so-and-so on the phone. And you might not remember me, but you told me like a month and a half ago about my son. She goes, I did what you said. He ended up having such a rare form of cancer on his pancreas, the end of his pancreas, that the liver was actually shielding for the scans. There's only 5 people in the world ever diagnosed with this cancer, and he's the first kid. And so he would have died. They would have just not found that till he died. So it's pretty cool to be able to you know, give that. And I don't think that's anything special about me. I don't think I'm special in that way. I think I'm just tuned into that. and pay attention to it. But if we pay attention to what our body and our soul is communicating to us, we're much better off than even communicating to other people. Because, you know, if you think of everything around you or everybody around you as a mirror of you, because we really are from the same source and we're all connected, we're just a slice off the same pie. And, you know, if somebody,
cream.
yes. If you think about somebody that, you know, irritates you, or, you know, well, that person's probably cheating me. Where in you is that part of you that feels that way, either about you or about the world, or somebody hurt you in that way? So if you could really see where's the love in this situation, even though it's hard sometimes to see it, like really hard sometimes to see it, and where am I in this? Just like your dreams, if it's not a lucid dream, your dreams are telling you, they're informing you about you. And the universe can't really interfere with our free will. So that's one of the reasons most of the information comes in like parables or codes, or because just saying this is how it is actually infringing on our ability to have free will, because that would influence us. So that's why, you know, the Bible's in parables, those type of things, to not interfere with your free will. This is kind of cool.
Do you do that to yourself when you get a feeling about someone? Do you ask where you are in
Oh,
this?
absolutely.
Or since you know you have like psychic ability?
No,
or you just, like,
absolutely. It really is always about me, as far as me getting pinged by something, not like a information I'm getting, but like if you do something that just irritates me to death, that's all about me. That's how I'm seeing the world. That's how I'm manifesting my world. That would look like that, because we actually do manifest our world, and that's super cool, because we can manifest anything we want to. That's the cool part of it. We forgot we can do that.
Yeah,
We totally forgot we can do that. So one of the things meditation does is you can actually, when you get to the place where you quieted your mind and you're actually in that space, you can actually at that point manifest your life, what you want your life to be. And we're co-creators of the universe all the time, so we can co-create whatever we want. And that's a big communication to the universe, right? I want it this way.
I just want to jump up and say amen.
Well, it's actually, you know, it's,
We'll do it after
Okay.
meditation.
yes.
Once for all time. We really get weird.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's funny when we laugh, but, you know, I feel like at this point in history, in this part where we have so much ability to validate things, and I do believe that there's another force trying to keep this at bay, like you're saying. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, because I do believe there's a lot
I'm a
of.
big believer of conspiracy.
Yes, I am too. And I'm also pretty straightforward. You know, love or hate me. This is what you get. You get what you get. You know, but being in this time of because you know, I do believe that the whole entire universe is ascending to the fourth density. I'm sure you probably are in tune with that. But as human beings, that's what's happening. So all of us that are ascending to be aware actually is raising the vibration of every human being on the planet. I was at a meeting, this was a couple of weeks ago, and I just recently began to be able to see auras. And when I first started, I'm like, I literally would take my glasses. I'm like, you know when you get out of the pool and you get that film, if you've been in the pool for a long time, you have that little film over your eyes and you're like blinking. And I was like, put my glasses on and I was like, and I was sitting there and I know I looked, you know, I'd love to have a camera on me and see how ridiculous I look, because I was like in my own world trying to figure out what is going on. So I'm in this meeting, there's probably 30 people in the meeting, and I see all these different color auras all around them. And this was a meeting of, you know, sort of like minds coming together and having a common helpful nature to the meeting. And about 25 minutes into the meeting, I saw all the auras become the same color.
Hmm.
And so everybody started vibrating at the same level, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if you're familiar with, of course, now I'm on the spot, I can't remember his name, but anyway, he calibrated all the levels of consciousness. Are you familiar with who I'm talking about? I'll look his name up before we leave. But he wrote several books. One, Force versus Power. That's
Oh, David Hawkins.
David Hawkins. That's it. Thank you. Anyway, he calibrated all the levels of consciousness from sadness and fear and anger is actually below death. It's that's how low those are on your vibrational frequency, and you have to vibrate at 200 to be on the life-giving side. So people that vibrate under that, and under that is just like pride is just right under that 200. It runs the Marine Corps, but not most people, and so
And Austria.
yes. So if you think of that like Alcoholics Anonymous, okay, people going in and trying to help their addiction, that consistently AA meetings, if you go into an AA meeting and calibrate it, it consistently calibrates at unconditional love at 540. So when you're around people that are vibrating at a higher density, you can't help but join in, and I think that's what we're doing with things like this, talking about this and raising the awareness, and it's exponential. It's like one person, and then two people, then it's 2 squared, and then it's 4 squared, and then it's 6 to the 16th power, and all. It's very exponential. So a few people can make a huge difference. So you're making a difference.
At this very moment.
Yes.
Shall we try meditation? Let's see.
Let's not try, let's do.
Yes, that's the spirit. Finally, someone besides me said that.
I think Yoda said it too. He said it better than I did.
Oh, well, we all have our way of saying that. I'm just trying to get the music on the mantra. So we're familiar with Kundalini Yoga. You're not familiar, but we will be doing it in the format that you don't have to really chant or anything. We will only have to listen to the words. And the funny thing is that you will, before we start meditation, we'll do a little bit visualization, and maybe we'll go through the experiences that we've been encountering, our most heated communications. And we'll do it before the meditation and after the meditation. And we will compare, and we can detach in a good way, like being neutral. The way you said it about stepping back, being actually an observer, being neutral, and having that core of balance inside of us, right? The 0 point. Different names for that, but we will do that. We'll just get there. And we will see the situation from there, and then we will work on reframing that. Yeah, we'll see. And see what happens. Sounds good? Okay.
Or we'll create what happens.
Oh.
I like that too.
We'll manifest
Why
it.
not?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just get the mantra.
While she's finding that, and another little factoid here. If you put like a chant or a certain vibration of a frequency, and you have an EEG on, you can actually see exactly how it stimulates the brain. But if I just think the same thing without hearing it, I have the same trace on an EEG. So your brain actually, a thought is a vibration, and it has the same effect as hearing it. So that's why visualization and actually being really in check on what you think, because your brain and is like a small child and believes everything you say. It really does. So
I like this comparison.
yeah.
It's much better than saying you have to control your brain or become a master, all this.
I think you have to use it as a tool, because it's an awesome tool we have, so we can manifest stuff.
It's a beautiful instrument.
Yes, it is.
I found the mantra. Okay.
Good.
Let's close our eyes and sit up straight. And let's start deepening our breath with the belly. And as we inhale, we want to push the belly out on the inhalation, slowly and gradually bringing the breath all the way to your throat. So you have a very long inhalation. And imagine there is nothing else but this frame of yours where you're breathing. And exhale slowly. At the same time, relax your shoulders down and back. Focus at the center of your spine. Keep breathing long and deep, and you can place your palms on your lap, facing up, or you can place them in Gyan Mudra, thumb and index fingers touching, as you wish. And really relax your neck, the back of your neck, pull your chin in, open your chest, and focus just a little bit above the eyebrows, brow point. Don't forget to exhale completely. Very good. 2 more breaths like this. Now bring into awareness the situation. It doesn't have to be a verbal communication. It could be just someone making you feel as you don't like, the way you don't like. Any type of interaction. Bring it into your space. By bringing it into your space, I mean try not to become a part of it, but try to watch it as a movie. Or just do it. See where you feel it in your body, maybe in your solar plexus, maybe in other areas. And once you identify where you're feeling it, investigate that sensation in your body. Focus all your attention into that point. If you get an image or emotion or a thought, just accept it and acknowledge. And now, send love to that part of the body. Without analyzing any further, just send love there. Appreciation, gratitude. Good. Now inhale deep. And exhale. Place your left palm on the right shoulder, right over the left. So we get kind of crossing the arms, both arms in front of us, yes. And feel how you're protecting yourself. Keep your spine straight, chin is tucked in, focusing at the brow point. Now we're going to listen to the mantra, really focusing at the brow point, just listening to the words. Then we will whistle with the mantra, and then we will listen. It will be silent outside, but we will listen to the sounds we created by our whistling. All this time we want to focus above the eyebrows, going within. And just relax your breath. prepare to whistle. Focus at the brow point, very straight line. And now, listen to your whistle. So just be silent and deeply, deeply listen to the whistle in your head. And when you finish replaying and listening, take a deep breath in and really be into this moment. There's nothing more perfect than this particular moment. And exhale everything out. Very good. Next time, inhale, stretch up. Open your arms up, stretch from your armpits, stretch your fingertips, project. Connect with your aura, with your magnetic field. Energize it with new colors, with new energy, with new frequency. Focus in at the brow point. Squeeze your root lock, rectum, genitum, sex organs, lower belly, gently squeeze. Bring the energy up. Stay there. Exhale. Inhale. Hold it, squeeze it, shake. Shake your arms, shake your ears, shake your nose, shake your lashes, everything. Hair in your nose. Shake, 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 shake. Go wild, spread the energy. Now exhale and also send it to someone you want to share it with. And release your arms down. Stay inside, keep your eyes closed. Remember this sensation, remember this feeling. Seal it, and at any moment, at any point, when you need to find your neutrality, just come back to the sensation. Create your imprint. And if you like, you can bring the situation again and observe and see if there's any charge left to that situation. And if there is, make it smaller, 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 like really squeeze it into one bean. And relax, breathe into that. And when you're ready, you open your eyes. Okay, everyone alive, good. Good score for the meditation. You know, when I first saw it, I just saw it recently. I don't want to say like I know all meditations, but I know quite a bit. But when I saw this, it was just, I was like, this is it. I just randomly found it, and I knew what we needed to do.
Actually, with crossing, it's actually a technique for calming you and actually stimulating both sides of your brain at the same time, called butterfly.
Huh?
And that's one of the techniques I learned for pain. It's nurturing, and I'm stimulating both sides of my brain at the same time, which doesn't let one of them take over.
Crossing the balancing.
Yes,
the
yes,
hemispheres.
and it really centers you.
I love this. We should do meditations together because we will have all parts covered.
Let's do it.
Might be very emotional.
Yes.
Were you able to listen to the whistle? I'm just curious.
A little. It's interesting. I've never in the past been able to visualize at all. And so that's still something that I'm trying to learn, like there's something wrong, there's not. It's just how I my process, but I can hear things, you know, and I was able to kind of remember the tone, but
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, ladies?
I'm the opposite. I see colors. It's like, I don't know, I see colors and letters and words everywhere. And I went from listening to the whistle, I went away on the journey of colors,
Oh.
which was great. It was colorful at the beginning, and then it just all came into white, which was really nice.
What about you?
This whole meditation felt a lot like something I'm dealing with in my life.
Mhm.
So I was kind of using this self-protection in my own little situation, and I was thinking about that. And sometimes the whistle would come, but I was sort of reinforcing, protecting myself. in
Mhm.
this situation.
That's good.
So,
That's
yeah.
interesting. Wonderful.
Very nice.
That was very nice.
Thank
Just,
you. Yeah, that was great. Any questions? I'm not asking you, YouTubers.
I only have probably a request. Would it be possible to share it with us after this meeting so we can maybe
Yeah,
do it?
absolutely. I can post on our Facebook group and
Would be
and
great.
I'll give her some links
Mhm.
that kind of break down the Imago training, and very, very easy to follow.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if you can, like for a week from now, during the week, you can just practice with someone. You can practice deliberately, like telling the other person, and you just do it, and sometimes just do it, and see how much you get and how much the other person gets. That
Because
would be
you will really
interesting.
get present to how much you don't listen to people. You really will. Like we do that all the time. Our car drives places, and we end up there. You know how you just go
Mhm.
off into
You
the
miss the process.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't remember how.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a lot.
Yes.
That's what I like about this healing technique. And I'm not sure if it's a healing technique or what I just encountered in Kundalini yoga community of like real like practitioners. When they communicate, they listen beyond the words. And that's one of this technique in conscious communication course. It's listening beyond the words. But yes, we all get this perception, but it's very conscious. It's very like applied. So when they're listening, you can say whatever you want, but they really get what you're saying, and they rephrase it surprisingly in a way that you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly how I would like to say it. Thank you. So if you like, you can try that.
I think I've experienced that talking to you. I'm like trying to say something and like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm cheating too sometimes.
And that's just getting in tune with that energy.
Mhm.
That's what it is. Yeah, in my experience.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank everyone and everything. Have a wonderful week.